I don't think any private company and should get any benefit from government in any way, shape, or form, right? That resolves the question. If we can remove the benefits that they get, what I would call crony capitalism, then of course you're dealing with a private company, and this is easy because the First Amendment is intended to restrict the government from restricting speech, not private companies. And so I think that we do a disservice to our movement when we push to have private companies considered like they're government companies or quasi-government companies. This is a very dangerous move, in my opinion, because it wouldn't just be First Amendment that would apply to them. It would also be due process and a whole host of other things. And, imagine private companies having the grief of not being able to terminate people because they haven't received a proper due process hearing and appeals and this and that. And so I don't think that that's the world that the people who desire freedom are wanting. I think it would be far better served. The same thing is true in the immigration context, right? A lot of people will say, well, because we have this huge social welfare state, we shouldn't allow people to come in and immigrate. Well, okay, we should fix both things, right? We should say, look, we should end the social welfare state and then allow people who want to come here not for benefits, because they would get none. The benefit they would get is the right to be left alone and not have the principle violated against them. But they would simply have the option to, like everybody else, define and pursue their happiness. And this always helps the economy. More people being here to buy things and start businesses and employ others always been a good thing. Immigration has historically been a good thing. So, I say the same thing in all of these areas. Instead of saying, well, because the government regulates the heck out of these companies, let's then treat them as government entities and say the First Amendment applies and they can't cancel who they want. I think it's a far better approach to say we should stop the crony capitalism that fuels the argument that these companies really aren't private companies anymore. Let's stop that, treat them as actual private companies and let them do whatever they want to do as long as they don't violate the rules. So if the world that I would envision is Facebook would sink or swim on its own, no special privileges from government. But Facebook has every right to kick anybody off their platform they choose for any reason they want. Start a new platform if you don't like that. And I think a lot of people already have.